and it's definitely a privilege and a blessing.
Amen. Well, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dudes and dudettes, I am grateful, honored, and privileged to be here on the number one faith-based, motivational, and inspirational broadcast platform in the country. And of course, GMAP Broadcast Network is that platform. And we are just grateful for all of you who continuously show your love, care, concern, and support to this platform. Today, as you can tell, we have my friend and my brother, Mr. Thurston, here with us on today. You know what? I'm going to just back up a little bit, man, and say, you know what? Come on in, man. Introduce yourself. Tell us who you are. Tell us where you're from.
Definitely, Antoine Thurston. I live here in Deerfield Beach, Florida, Broward County. I'm right here, right in your backyard.
Yeah.
I have my. I went to school at Ely. I was raised in Broward County. I went to school, Blanche Ely High School. Graduated 2007. Did a year at FAMU, Florida A&M University. Came back and got my bachelor's, my master's, and my doctorate degree in theology. I'm also a mentor at Parkway Middle School, as well as an entrepreneur. I have a hobby of collecting precious metals, silver and gold as well.
My gosh, man. Well, you know what? Let me say we are honored, privileged, and blessed to have you join us here on today on the GMAP Broadcast Network. And of course, we are excited about this brand new publication that's out, man. My bondage and my freedom. You know what? There's so much to talk about with this publication, but let me allow you the opportunity, first and foremost, to dive in and share with the people a little bit about this current publication.
Yes, definitely. I have the book right here with me. It's called My Bondage and My Freedom, From the Mental Institution to the Pulpit. And, I wrote the book. Actually, I was at a business workshop or conference a year and a half ago with some mutual friends, and I met a publisher, and we began to dialogue and talk. And, I also got a confirmation from a pastor friend of mine to start writing a book, and I knew I needed to let the people know a little more about Antoine Thurston. And so I decided to write a book about what I went through in my life, a memoir of the struggles that I had with pornography, being addicted to pornography, struggling with low self-esteem, struggling with self-worth, self-hate, and then eventually getting exposed to witchcraft, and also being a cutter, multiple times diagnosed with schizophrenia, paranoid schizophrenia, in and out of the mental institution as well, and even suicidal attempts and overdose. But through the grace and the power of God through Jesus Christ at the altar, at a revival, God delivered me and set me free. And I'm here to tell my story and give my story of hope, freedom, and that anybody can be free from whatever bondage they're in.
My God, that is so very true. And, I normally don't say that I can relate to things unless I can actually relate to things, and I can truly relate to that. Had that same issue many years back, man, to where, some things would just try to take the place of satisfaction on my daily living. Pornography, whether it's drugs, whether it's alcohol, whatever the case may be. And I can relate to that, man. And, the root foundation behind this publication definitely has to be through experience. What drove you to the point, Antoine, to where you said, you know what, I really need to share my story. I need to make this public. I need to not be ashamed to disseminate this information to people around the world. What brought you to that point?
Well, what really brought me to that point was how powerful my own words were. I actually posted about what I went through maybe before I even wrote the book. And so many people commented like, oh my goodness, didn't know you went through all of that. And just, it was just a pull in me to write a book about what I went through so other people can have hope. So other people can know they're not in it by themselves. You're not alone. God still loves you. God still cares. And God, number one, God still has a plan in Jeremiah 29:11. So
That's right. That's right.
that's really
Well, ladies and gentlemen, once again, we are grateful to have Antoine here with us. And if you don't know, now you know that he is one of our featured authors with the book publications on the GMAP Broadcast Network, gmap1.com. You can simply stop by our broadcast network platform and visit our bookstore. And many of you can currently see a copy of the cover of the current publication on your screen if you are chimed in through the GMAP Broadcast Network. Antoine can't see it because I'm pulling him in from our StreamYard platform, but all of you that are chimed in on GMAP, you can see that cover. Once you visit the bookstore, you can simply click on that cover. It'll take you to the necessary location to continuously show your love, care, concern, and support for this young author, as well as the publication that he has disseminated to people around the world. Now, of course, Antoine, I know that you know as well as I do that we are role models to somebody, whether we like it or not.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are, sir.
There are always individuals on the outside looking in, looking at our journey, trying to figure out how is it that they can get on the right path that God has placed them on. And of course, they look at you and say, hey, well, Antoine did it, and I really want to know how I can accomplish my vision, my dreams, my goals. What words of encouragement would you have for those individuals today?
I would definitely say to those individuals, you have to believe. There is nothing impossible to them that believe. I was at a point, I mentioned in the book, my mother and I got to the place where we got tired of being tired. And I went into a catatonic state where my entire body shut down because the medication wasn't working. And so it was just making me eat and overeat, get sluggish, and gain so much weight, gain about 50 pounds extra. And we decided we were going to come into agreement that God was going to heal. And so when we put all our faith in God and took hold of his hand, God came through. I started to repent. I started to repent of my sins in my life. And God began to deliver me and restore me to the proper position I was supposed to be. So the first thing I would say is, one, believe that you can be different. Believe that you can be free. Believe that God can change you. Believe that God can forgive. And believe God can make you new and make all things new in our lives. Secondly, make sure, even as I went through these seasons and these turmoils, I always had a support system. Either it was family, even a therapist, or a pastor, sowing wisdom, knowledge into me, and so forth. Lastly is definitely, you have to be hungry enough. You have to be hungry for freedom. Freedom is still a choice, and as well as bondage is a choice. So, I would definitely say you have to also be determined. And when I got to that place of being tired where I was, nothing could keep me from pursuing God to the utmost.
Amen. I can totally relate to that. And I'm a firm believer that your destiny was determined before your delivery.
Oh, yes.
I'm a firm believer that one of the things that we have to keep in mind is we have to be willing to endure the process.
Yes.
And the process is the tough part. Of course, look at what Jesus had to endure during his process. He was beat down, talked about, skin ripped from his body, people hollering, crucify him. He was one of the very few individuals that I recognized that carried his own execution device. But that process is what brought him to the ultimate goal. And of course, that's dying on the cross for our sins. But that's not how the story ends. 3 days later, he rose again. And of course, his destiny was inevitable. And, but he had to also be one to endure the process. Even he had to disseminate that one word question, why? Why me, O God? Why hast thou forsaken me? So it's the process that you endured that brought you to this point. Some of those individuals, Antoine, that are out there looking, they can walk up to you today and say, I appreciate you sharing your story. I appreciate you coming out with this publication. I appreciate what you're doing, but what's next for Antoine Thurston? What would your response be?
Well, what's next is for me is I'm actually pursuing certification and license in anger management, life coach, and family counseling, which integrated into that will be crisis and grief counseling. So I wanted to give back more with the book so I can, help those mentally, emotionally. And even what I'll be doing in the future, I'm connecting with psychiatrists, Christian psychiatrists, Christian psychologists and therapists, but we're going to start coming together, doing workshops, conferences, and so forth, and bringing more awareness of mental health and mental illness in our communities and our churches, because
Amen.
it's very much swept under the rug, or kind of downplayed or taboo, and so forth. And ever since I came out with this book, so many people have been reaching out to me about somebody having suicidal thoughts. And I will give you a perfect example. I had a mother come to me about her son. He was having suicidal thoughts, and she wanted me to mentor him. And I began to mentor him and pray for him and do, the spiritual things. But we also connected him to a friend of mine that is a doctor and a Christian psychologist, does psychotherapy. And through the process, maybe 2 months, up to this day, he's not feeling suicidal. He's not hearing voices as much. He's happier. His disposition has changed. So we see the results in not just the spiritual side of things, but the science side of things, which God can use to bring healing, restoration, and deliverance. So that is my next step, to bring more awareness of working with others in promoting sound, holistic mental health, both spiritually and emotionally.
Amen. Well, one of the things that we, as a society, have realized recently is doing things on a virtual level has really been at an all-time high. Doing things virtually it's almost taken the place of being necessary to mandatory. And so, of
Yes.
course, with that being said, when you begin the process of sharing that information, doing these workshops, I want you to make sure that you keep little old GMAP Broadcast Network in mind, because
Yes, sir.
we would be honored. One of the things that we have decided to focus on during our new season is to make sure that we share and disseminate quality information that's necessary for people around the world to receive. A lot of times we tend to receive things when we are in our own little cocoon, our own little quiet room, when all by ourselves. And one of the ways that happens is through platforms such as this one. So when you make that decision to take it to the next level, I want to say take it to the next dimension,
Yes.
because we operate 144 levels at a time. We serve an awesome God, and He doesn't do things on a small scale. So taking one step, that you're on your own with the one step. As a matter of fact, you're on your own with the 2, 3, 4, and 5 step. But when you start disseminating what you have and allowing it to move forward uh, on a dimensional basis, and then you're
Yes.
doing the will of God. So make sure that you keep us posted so we can be one of those platforms that you utilize to help get this information out to the eyes and ears of the people, okay?
Yes, definitely. Will do. I definitely will do that.
Oh my goodness. You know what? You have already made my day. Now, I want to look at the reality. And of course, let me say this before I say that. We don't do this to make people rich. We do it for the support of the ministry. We do it so that we can have you show your love, care, concern, and support to keep the ministries that's involved, to keep the authors, the publications, the books moving forward to reach more and more people. If someone wanted to reach out and show their love, care, concern, and support for you and maybe purchasing a copy of this particular publication, what's the process in order to do so?
Definitely. Um, they can go to Amazon, which is probably one of the many ways they can purchase my book. Just type in my book's name, My Abundance and My Freedom, or I prefer type in my name, Antoine Thurston, Antoine. Last name is Thurston, Thurston. My paperback and my ebook will pop up, and they can purchase either the paperback or the ebook. Secondly, I am on social media, Facebook and Instagram, but I do have a personal website where they can go on my website and find more information about me, and what I'm doing. They can become a part of my email list, and then I do have a few books on on my website as well. But the major one would be Amazon.
And of course, we don't want them to forget about little old GMAP down here in the lower left hand corner of everything. And again, I'm going to say that you can easily stop by the GMAP Broadcast Network, click on the bookstore tab. It will take you to the bookstore where you will see The same cover that you're currently seeing on the GMAP Broadcast Network live stream screen. You can click on that cover. It will take you to the Amazon location to show your love, care, concern, and support. You can purchase the book there, download whatever is necessary, but do show your support. We need to get this information out to the people as much and as often as we possibly can. It's necessary. Now, I'm going to draw a scenario for you.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to draw a scenario for you, and I love the responses that I get, and I just simply want you to respond accordingly.
Okay.
The scenario is this. I'm going to put together what I call my megatorium. My megatorium is going to consist of the T.D. Jakes Potter's House and the Joel Osteen Auditorium put together. My megatorium has 50,000 seats in it. Yes, I said that correctly. 50,000 seats in it. Megatorium, 50,000 seats, all occupied by young men. Now, megatorium, 50,000 seats, occupied by young men. The unique thing about these young men is they've been through things very, very similar to what you've been through. And really and truly, only you know the direct things that you've been through. They've been through things very similar to the things you've been through. They've been battered, beaten, they've been mistreated, they've been gangbangers, drug addicted, drug sellers, locked up in jail, all that stuff. I had the honor, the privilege, and the blessing of introducing my friend and my brother, author Antoine Thurston, to the podium. My first and last question would be, what would you say to them?
What would I say to them? I would definitely relate the same scenario, which is my experience. When I was down and out, and I forsook God and was rejecting my own faith, there were times that I would blaspheme God and curse God. And yet, even through all my sin and cursing and unrighteousness, I would even sometimes feel the presence of God. And I would wonder why God would not kill me, why God would not destroy me. And I would say his benevolent love, his faithfulness to us, as sinful as we are. God, as I went through it, I still knew God had a plan. In spite of my sin, in spite of my faults, as God told Jeremiah, even in chapter 1, I know before I formed you, I knew you, I preordained you to be a prophet to the nations. And so I would tell them all, like I'm telling you, no matter what you've done, no matter where you are, no matter how you feel about God, God still cares about you. God still has you on his mind. God still has a plan. Even when you don't have a plan for your own life, God still has a plan. God says, I know the thoughts I think towards you. If that doesn't get you through anything else, trust me, I know it will, because it got me through. And God's plan, and he says, my thoughts towards you are good. So God has good for us and an expected end. As he has done for me, he will do it for you as well.
My
so
God.
You're not at a hopeless situation. You are at a hopeful situation.
Man, I tell you what, you have encouraged 50,000 young men in my megatorium. Now, I'll let you use my megatorium if you promise to continue that positive, encouraging word. I'll let you use my megatorium from time to time. Man, I really, man, I'm just so honored, privileged, and blessed. Before we move on, man, I would love it if you would just take time out to one more time share your connection information. Let the people know how, if they wanted to reach out and maybe touch base with you on a more individual basis, intimate basis, and maybe talk to you, because sometimes, Antoine, people really just don't want to talk to a group of people. They're set back. They're a little shy. They're a little ashamed of themselves, whatever have you. They may want to reach out to you. What's the process? I mean, I know that there's a website, but share with us one more time your website, email, phone number, management book, whatever the case may be. How can people connect with Antoine Thurston?
Well, definitely. They can, if they want to connect on a more personal level. I have people I've connected to a lot of people through Facebook Messenger. So if they want to go on Facebook, look me up through Instagram or Facebook. We can definitely have a dialogue, conversation, talk. Like I said, even my website, AntoineDThurston.com, has my Facebook, my social media information, as well as my phone number. And so those and email is available on there as well. You can contact me via social media, cell phone, or my email, so they can be more in touch with me.
One more time, mention the complete name of your publication. I'm always stopping saying my bondage and my freedom. Give us the complete name as people are looking at it on the screen, so they can again go out and show their love, care, concern, and support for you and your publication.
Yes. The name of my book is called My Bondage and My Freedom, from the Mental Institution to the Pulpit.
Man, that is a powerful, powerful title of a publication. And I'm really just excited that you have simply allowed us to be a part of your journey. I do want you to know and understand that the door will always be open. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to rip the door off the hinges. I'm just going to take it off the hinges. So when you get here, you can just walk over the threshold and walk right in. You know, the door will always be open. And if there is anything that we can assist you with during your journey, man, we want you to know that the answer is yes. We will be glad to. You will never have to ask us twice. We would be honored to continuously remain a part of the journey that God has placed you on. Don't forget, when you begin your next level of process, we want you to keep GMAP Broadcast Network in mind, because we want to be one of those platforms that you use when you begin to release some of the other information that you have in your spirit to share with the people around the world. Man, I tell you, I just can't thank you enough for taking time out of your busy schedule to just hang out with us here on the GMAP Broadcast Network. Just a few moments, I'm going to get back to more continuous music. But before I do that, let me do this. Heavenly Father, our God, we come to you once again on this day, first and foremost, as we always should, to simply say thank you. We thank you for this opportunity. We thank you for this divine connection. We thank you for this young man, this author, this awesome man of God. We're asking right now, oh God, that you continue to look down upon him, blessing him according to your will. As a matter of fact, bless all those that are connected to him in the name of Jesus, continuously guiding him down the pathway of salvation and righteousness. Father God, continue to strengthen him to stand firm by faith on the front line, remain on the battlefield to do your will, to do your works, and to do it your way. We thank you today. We praise you. We glorify you. We magnify your name on today, oh God. So we simply want you to give ear to our weak voices, give ear to our small prayers, blessing each and every one of us that can hear the sound of my voice, blessing us according to your will and not ours. We thank and we praise you on today. We praise and we thank you in the name of the Father, in the name of the Son, and in the name of the Holy Ghost. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen, amen, and amen. Antoine, we love you, bro. We look forward, man. We look forward to some outstanding things in the very near future. Until next time, I want you to do two things for me, okay?
Okay.
Be blessed and be a blessing.
Amen. We'll always do.
God bless you, bro. We look forward to talking to you again real soon, okay?
Yes, sir. God bless you.
Available at Christian Book